your exercise books and developing work, first of all on the front cover you'll see that you've now got your target grade and the grade that you got overall that you're working at this term. It's really important that you complete this front sheet here. You can see I'll turn it around for Restless Earth and put your target grade in there as well. So some things I'd like to point out, general things really to make work better. Firstly, as a glossary, you need to have a good range of words in here: convection currents, primary effects, secondary effects, volcanoes, earthquakes, hazards, all those key words that we've looked at should be in there, and you'll find those on the PowerPoints if you look at Google Drive. Generally people got good diagrams of the centre of the Earth and the structure of the Earth, but this needs to have specific detail like this person here. Then we go on in convection currents, where people have fallen down with convection currents is they've not really explained how it works and how it moves the plates. You've got to make sure you can explain convection currents if you need to develop that, say that they move the plates and that the plate movements is what causes earthquakes and volcanoes. You then should have information about the different plate boundaries. You've got to make sure that you've got all four. So you've got constructive plate boundaries where they move apart, form shield volcanoes, destructive plate boundaries where oceanic subducts underneath continental, and you get composite volcanoes and earthquakes, collisional where two continental plates come together and form mountains like this diagram here, and then also the conservative plates where they slide past each other. So you need to make sure you've got that. If you've not got that, look at the QR codes, look back at the textbook and make sure you've got diagrams and explanation of how they work. Then you need to make sure that you've got your case studies, that's all in the textbook as well, and you've completed that for all 5 of the case studies like this person has here. This is quite a good book. Other things that people need to do is make sure we talk about how we measure earthquakes and how we monitor volcanoes, brilliant diagram here, and also earthquakes. And the important thing here is to make sure that we've talked about how we can prevent things happening to people, and we look at the differences between the MEDCs and the LEDCs. Lots of people have done one and not the other. So here we can see MEDCs and here we can see LEDCs. Make sure you've done that, diagrams and labels. There were some questions, so make sure that you've had a little look at that if you need to develop it. Here we talked about what you need for 2 marks and what you need for 4 marks. Key to 2 marks is your point and then development or example, and for 4 marks is 2 points with development and example and explanation if it asks you to explain. You should have a map here that needs to have the labels of the case studies we did on it. You should also have a little summary sheet like that. Make sure that that is completed, and then you should have your exam questions. You all went through in class at least the first one, so you should have annotated in green what you need to do. The second one really, key points from this, 1 point answered at the beginning, so why was it severe effects? That's going to be the large area, it's going to be the magnitude, it's going to be the fact that it causes tsunami. The question here is about how we can prepare for volcanoes. That's very similar to the earthquake ones, but needs to be specific. And then here with the plate boundaries, lots of people need to do a little bit of work on this and go back to this, is making sure that you are clear with the plate boundaries for your 4-point marks. So if you're unsure about that, please check on your work and add with green pen what you need to do. So when you're doing all your corrections, please, just knock the remote off, make sure that you use a green pen. We want you to spend some time doing this to make sure that your work is absolutely up to speed. If you've missed any work, then you need to make sure that you catch that up. Look on Google Drive at the PowerPoints, look at your friends' works as well and have a do that. And really key thing is make sure you read the textbook, that will really help. So we hope this helps, and we'd really like to see you using the green pen to develop your work and get the best revision materials you can.